Hey, it's Nate with Persuasion for a Profit, and right now we're going to talk about basically the 7 deadly sins of persuasion. So you don't want to do any one of these things if you want to be persuasive. And basically, it's not even just about persuasion, it's just about being a better person in general. Don't do any of these things. People are going to like you more. You're going to live a lot better. You're going to feel a lot better. You're going to have a lot better of a reality. So, if you want that, listen to this. If not, just click off and go do all these things. Because at the end of the day, it's up to you. I mean, I want you to do all these things, but I ain't losing no sleep over it, okay? So, cheers, and let's get into these. So the first thing is no gossip. Do not gossip, because if you gossip to someone, they're gonna know that you will gossip about them to someone else. Get what I'm saying? Okay? No negativity. Keep everything positive in your conversation. People are gonna like you a lot more. They're gonna attribute you to a category of positivity. So they're gonna think, hey, that guy's, positive. Even if they don't like you, they're not gonna be able to say that you're a negative person. They might not like you, but they're going to say, hey, he's a positive person, she's a positive person, you're a positive person, we are positive people. So, no negativity. The next thing, no judgment. Do not judge. Just don't do it. It's hard, I understand. As humans, we want to judge, okay? It just is what it is. But no more judging. This is something you have to work on a daily basis not to do, because sometimes I still judge. It's just a natural thing. Like I said, we as humans, we see something, we want to judge it, okay? Just see stuff, accept it, and don't judge it. Just accept things as they are. At some point, you kind of have to, make assumptions about things. You have to sort of label people. Make sure that you get to know people before you start to do that, okay? Next thing, no complaining. Don't complain. Just leave the complaints, for your own head. Leave them in your head. Work them out in your own head. You don't need to vocalize your complaints, okay? If you have an issue with something, address it in a way that you're speaking in a way that you're not complaining, okay? So, maybe say, hey, I have some concerns about these things. Don't be like, oh, I hate these things, like these things are bad, blah, blah, blah. Just be like, oh, I want to talk to you about these things. They're concerning me. You want to aim to solve things rather than just complain about them. Next thing, and this one bugs me a lot when I hear people doing it, no excuses, okay? You can make an excuse for anything and everything. I used to do it. I don't do it anymore. 99% of the time I don't do it. Sometimes I slip up and maybe make an excuse, but I catch myself and say, hey, you know what? No effing excuses, okay? No excuses. Catch yourself, okay? Catch yourself. You can do anything you want unless you let excuses stop you. If you let excuses get in your way, you're not going to do anything, okay? So, once you hear yourself using an excuse, switch it up. Ask yourself, how can I do this rather than how can I use excuses, okay? Why am I using an excuse? Why are you using an excuse? What can you do not to use that excuse? What can you do not to let that excuse stop you? That's the question to ask, okay? No exaggeration. Now, listen. This one, there's a fine line between promoting, persuading, selling, marketing, and complete exaggeration bullshit, okay? So you need to walk that line. Like, let's say you're great at doing something, okay? You're going to tell people you're great at doing it, but you're not going to go so over the top that people can't believe you. You have to mix in a bit of reality with your marketing, your talking, your promoting of yourself, okay? Your persuading of people. Some of it is fantasy, okay? But it has to be the right mix of fantasy and reality. Because if not, if you're too far on the fantasy side, too far on the exaggeration side, people aren't going to believe you, people aren't going to like you, people aren't going to take you seriously. It just simply is what it is. Now, the next one. And this happens a lot. I've countered a lot of people that do this. It's when someone, and check yourself if you're doing this, make sure you're not doing it. It's confusing facts with reality, okay? you have to be careful with this one because it's so easy to be caught up in your head in your opinions, in a delusion that you tend or you can mix facts and opinions. Okay, so you're confusing what's real and what is simply a delusion in your head. So what you think, because what we think is not always what is reality. Okay, so you have to make sure that you, now listen, here's a good point. You have to, in order to create your own world and create your own reality, you have to live in sort of a fantasy. You have to be kind of delusional, so to speak. Like, let's say you want to become a champion or you want to become a billionaire, and right now you're not that. You have to think like one. You have to act like one. As long as you're putting in the work on a day-to-day basis, then you're good, okay? But if you're simply delusional, I'm going to be a billionaire, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, but you're not, putting in the work every day, then you're delusional. If you're putting in the work every day toward that goal, then you are simply manifesting your own reality. So this one's kind of tricky. You got to be careful with it. Make sure that people know that, yes, you have that vision. Make sure they also know that you're working on it, and tell them your plans. You don't need to tell them all your plans, but hey, I want to become a champion, so I'm working every day. I'm doing these workouts. I'm doing this training. I'm going here. I'm in my case, sparring with these people because I'm going to become the UFC champion, 155, 170, and 185. So my goal is that on a day-to-day basis, I'm training, I'm getting better, I'm being realistic to where my level is, and I'm being realistic to who I need to go compete against to realize that dream. So my vision is becoming a reality because I'm taking the daily actions to make it a reality. Get what I'm saying? So check yourself. Make sure you're not doing any of these 7 deadly sins, basically. The laws that you should not do if you want to become more persuasive, if you want to live a better reality, if you want to just be happier, wealthier, have more love, have more friends, have more money, have more power, have more everything, okay? Make sure that you are not doing any of these 7 things that I just told you. Cheers.